Good morning and welcome to the news of Vanguard Live. My name is Damilola Obishaki and I'm with my co-host
Precious Chukudi.
And of course, still talking, we can't go start today without talking about the state of the road in Lagos especially. Because I noticed something, when I discussed with many Nigerians, and they were like, no, this thing does not happen in Anambra, it does not happen in Ekiti, it does not happen in Ondo, it's just Lagos. And you just wonder what is actually happening in Lagos. But we can really understand that, because it's a commercial, it's a commercial part of the country, and mostly. So I really don't know. Have you really been experiencing it lately also?
Like the gridlock thing has become like something that we cannot do without of late. I remember leaving from here, going from Anthony to Ikoyi, spending about 3 to 4 hours on the road, just driving, and traffic, like the fact that you're going on the road and then you can't find what's the cause of the traffic, nothing. It's very disheartening. It's the same way for everywhere. If you're going to usually a place that will take you 1 hour to get to, now you have to be booking like 4 hours more so you can quickly get there. So I don't know what to blame. I don't know if we're going to say that okay, because we're walking into the festivity period, and maybe that's the reason why we're experiencing that level of traffic back then.
And the worst part is that this traffic is actually causing insecurity on the road. Many people are not secure.
Yes.
This morning on my way to work, as I was in the side car, I think a small car passed beside mine, and he was at fault. He tried to cross, and in the process his windscreen actually broke. And he was the one at fault. And the next thing, he brought out matches in the middle of the road and started saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm like, all right. Really, if this is in the morning around 7 a.m., imagine what will actually happen at night. So you just need to worry.
The truth of the matter is that every Nigerian right now, their emotion is like the moment you just say anything to anybody, they are quick to react. Why? Because of how they are like angry in their spirits, People don't like the situation of things. So it looks like the moment there's any problem, some people will even go as far as they transfer aggression to anybody.
And that is what is actually proving that statement that an average Nigerian is an angry man. But let's not go more into details. Let's start with the review straight and start with the front page of Vanguard. And here we have mass defection boost. PDP, CUPP, others blast on APC. And the writer says, Nigerians are already stoning APC, only traitors with effects. That's coming from PDP. CUPP challenges APC to shock Nigerians with massive human development. Dying PDP pushing Nigeria into one-party states. APC laments. Focusing on me won't solve problems federal government APC created. That's coming from Atiku. PDP members defecting to APC in order, but Lamido Sani, that's come from Lamido and Sani. Also, right-thinking politicians will join APC. That's coming from Lawan. Also, Ikoku is saying, Wondo, Babatope, Waziri, others speak. You can see that story on page 5. Now, moving on to other stories, on page 4, we have vendors' debts. Widow disassociates self from 500 million naira suit against Baja. And also on page 10, we have suspected kidnappers kill Monarch Olofun of Ifon. On page 11, SARS, a family demand trial of ex-River SARS boss for alleged murder. Akwa Ibom panel summons ex-speaker orderly. On page 6, Nigeria ranks world's third most terrorized country for 6th time. Sure, this is not what Nigerians want to be hearing. But on page 8, also State of the Nation, Nigeria on the brink of collapse. Afenifere is saying that, and governors, not politics, says BK. And on the stories above, bandits have overrun North. Sultan raises alarm. Kidnapping, banditry have made interstate travels difficult. That's coming from Northeast governors as they lament. And you can see that story on page 6 and 7. And also, Niger Delta militant to federal government rejects South governor's demand to 13% derivation is paid. And lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, we have Argentina's agony. Fans clash with police as they scramble to see Maradona's coffin. And you can see that on page 30. And from the front page of Vanguard, we move straight to the Punch newspaper.
And on the Punch newspaper, we have a main headline says, Buhari's regime's second recession. NLC carpet, the federal government says cash sharing loan misuse ground economy. Now, the writer says 80% of our borrowings go back to lenders' economy, says Labour. Spending our borrowings on agri would have produced positive results. NLC is saying that our productivity more than giving people 5,000 naira to buy second-hand clothes. And stories about we have Lai Mohammed recants, denies announcing 5 million naira hate speech fine. You can see that on page 8. And on page 7, EFCC enlists US Niger's support to arrest Maina. And on page 2, not worst place to live. Bandits operate freely. That's from the Sultan. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, Lagos inspector rapes undergraduate, threatens suicide. You can see that on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Away from the Punch, move straight to the Nation newspaper.
And on the front page of the Nation, we have ASU divided over federal government offer to end strike. Also, Unimate teachers await bank alerts. Union get report from zones today. You can see that on page 4. Nigeria seeks better deal on OPEC quota. You can see that on page 6. Also, APC PDP clash over defections. Opposition fading. Kidnap suspects kill Ondo Monarch. You can see that on page 4. And lastly, on the front page of the Nation, we have federal government reaches out to Niger, United States to fish out Mina, and why there are no strikes in Osun by workers. And that's what we have on the front pages of the papers. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, of course, we have a very important guest that will be joining us to analyze some of the stories. Stay with us, we'll be back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Mushaki, and now with my co-host Precious Chukudi. And of course, we've reviewed some of the front pages of the papers, and now this is the analysis segment where a guest will be joining us, and this is the person of Chris Adetayo. He's a communication and international relations expert. Good morning, Mr. Chris.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And also thanks for joining us. So let's go straight into what we're talking about today, and that's of the statement by Bruni. So on Wednesday, the chairman of the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of APC, that's Governor Maimala Bruni, said that his party will shock Nigerians with the number of defections that will be the largest in Nigeria's political history. And it seems like it's currently right, because if you look at the recent defectors from APC, from PDP, that APC gained also, it includes that's Governor Umahi of Ebonyi and the former PDP national chairman. And also we have others that still say that they want to join APC, that's according to APC. Now, what do you think about this coming from APC saying they will shock Nigerians?
Well, thank you for that. My sense really is that it speaks to the complete failure of development of our political structure. We still have a political structure that is still hinged on rent, government rent, access to government funds through offices. And so invariably you have two sides of of the equation. You have those who are outside of the system who want to get in, and the best way to get in is to join them. So invariably, members of parties that are currently out of quote unquote power do all they can to find their way back in, and if they cannot do it through the electoral system, which is through elections, then obviously the only other option left for them is to join the reigning party. And on the other hand, you don't have the reigning party who see politics also as a zero-sum game, a game where the winner takes all. And so they are unable to work out modalities to ensure a fair playing ground across board for all political participants. And that's one of the pain of Nigeria's current political development, that we are unable to have a stable opposition, one that holds the government to account. Instead, what we have are opposition that instead of looking to hold government to account, is looking to join those in government, to continue, what in a large way is the misgovernance of the country. It's unfortunate that APC is making this statement, because if members of the APC 5-6 years ago had not worked, come together to form a very viable opposition to the then reigning party, the PDP, the APC will not be in government today. And ordinarily, what the APC should be doing is to ensure that all opposition parties, at the moment that APC is in government, also have such a fair chance, such that at the end of the day, it benefits the people, it benefits the Nigerian nation. A nation without, a strong opposition is unlikely to develop. It is a regurgitation of the same ideas, the same people, through different parties and platforms, but all delivering basically the same thing. And that hasn't helped Nigeria in any way whatsoever.
Okay, I would actually like to, get your opinion on this, because you've really expressed yourself about APC and PDP generally, because many Nigerians have actually been reacting to that, that statement that's shocking Nigerians about defection. So now that statement, is this supposed to be what we're supposed to be talking about now? Because Nigerians are saying that instead of them to say that we, shock Nigerians with developments and many other things that are currently affecting them, and we are talking about shocking Nigerians with defection. I would like to get your own reaction of that, because we've gotten many orders on social media.
That view is valid. That we only had elections a year ago. The next elections are not due for another 3 years. Nigerians are suffering. The economy is in recession. We have security challenges right across board, from the north down to the south. People are getting kidnapped. A lot of roads are not drivable anymore because of fears of security. And here we are, the ruling party, is focused on getting in more members, shocking Nigerians with a large number of opposition members joining them. It's a failure of priority. It's a failure of leadership. Ultimately, it's a failure of governance, and it's unfortunate. What 5 years ago, APC promised Nigerians change. A change for the better, a change in government, a change in how we operate and run things. Well, in the last 5 years, the only change that we have seen, really is that nothing has changed. It's still the same thing all over again. The ruling party looking to conscript members of the opposition party into its own group, thereby rendering the purpose of a multi-party government, a multi-party state, pretty much ineffective in Nigeria. So yes, people are absolutely right to call the APC's words and to refer it pretty much a complete lack of focus. The focus of Nigeria right now should not be about who is joining which party. It should be what are the people getting from the people in the corridors of power. And at the moment, the only thing Nigerians are getting is insecurity, is an economic meltdown. The government can use COVID as an excuse, but Nigeria is not the only country that is affected by COVID. But at the moment, we seem to be one of the very few countries that are in recession arising out of COVID. And that speaks to, a failure of economic management as well.
All right, Mr. Chris, let's talk about Nigeria on the brink of collapse. And, the Governor Wike, he made a statement that the president has an opportunity to address the demands of the people or set the country on fire. Now, looking at this statement, this is really huge. What do you think he really means by what he said?
Well, let me take it from a different tack. I think that the political leaders need to try and help to dampen the temperature across the country at the moment. The temperature has been very high, from SARS to recession to the security banditry, everybody throwing brickbats at each other, blaming everyone else, and so on and so forth. And here I refer to the political players, and the reality is that none of them is blameless. I do not think that the language used by the governor, with due respect to him, is necessary. Is it conducive, for national peace and security? I think that he should pick his words properly. Now, going more into what is talked about, which is about the government meeting demands, I think that there's some sense in it to say that there are already laid down guidelines and rules about how resources are shared. There are also agitations for restructuring in a number of ways and so on and so forth. What I would expect, however, is that such conversations are put forward in very, very convivial ways that does not, affect or raise, the temperature of the country and the people and all that. We're just coming out of the debacle of the NSAS and the quote-unquote Lekki massacre that has not just affected Nigeria's image at home, but indeed abroad. And we need now to start walking back, from all the hot wars that have been exchanged over the last couple of months.
All right. Still on the brink of collapse with the Pan-Yoruba social organization, that's Afenifere, they declared the country, that the country is in the state of, has become so ungovernable. That's what they said. And also they said we should go back to the implementation of the report of the 2014 conference. Now, a lot of Nigerians do not know what they mean by 2014 conference. I don't know if you can enlighten us on what you think that the Afenifere will be saying.
Oh, well, if I recollect correctly, in 2014, the then president, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, put together a national conference in 2014. This was obviously following several years of agitation for Soviet National Conference, to rewrite to rewrite basically Nigeria's constitution, as well as restructure the country. That 2014 conference, which lasted about 6-7 months, put together a report, a number of which recommended changes in how Nigeria is currently governed. And unfortunately, Goodluck Jonathan was unable to implement because within 6 months of that report being ready, he was voted out of office. And the new government of President Muhammadu Buhari, decided that since they did not participate in that particular conference, nor were they the midwives of the conference, then they were not going to implement it. So again, one of those things that Nigeria has been very good at. We organize a number of great, fantastic, conferences, come up with, decent, agreements in so many ways, and then they all basically end up, on shelves, gathering dust. Right now, what Afenifere is basically asking for is ending its campaign for restructuring around the 2014 national conference. The report of that conference which made a number of recommendations. One of which was the strengthening of regions across the country. Recall that Nigeria was originally made of 4 regions in the early 60s when we gained independence. Before the military came, and then, from 4 regions we became 12, from 12 to 19, 19 to 21, 21 to 30, and then we're 36. And then under General Sani Abacha, a national conference at that time as well decided to zone the country into 6. But however, with pretty much no empowerment whatsoever beyond the allocation of resources and personnel. And the 2014 conference, did make a point of, working around solutions that will strengthen, those zonal structures, which, in fairness, has been one of the things that Afenifere has been campaigning for several years. Is a greater, a stronger federating unit, and a much reduced, center. Nigeria is peculiar in having a very strong central government, which warehouses a lot of the powers of the federation, and relatively weak, federating units. And that has impact on so many fronts: economic, political, how we share offices, as well as development. And I personally also think that the current structure that we have operated, which is a holdback from the military, has not helped Nigeria.
Mr. Chris, I think let's move to another this because we're actually running out of time now. And let's talk about the security state of the country. And also, it seems that the Sultan of Sokoto, raised the alarm over the brazen attack by bandits in the north, claiming that they have overrun the region in their activities. Now, according to the Sultan of Sokoto, he said that some weeks ago that 76 persons were killed in a community in Sokoto in a day. But no media actually reported that because he claims that the media in the north is actually very weak, and Nigerians believe that north is a very safe place, despite all these things going on. Now my question is, do Nigerians actually think north is safe with all those things that we've been hearing about north?
Absolutely not. I mean, with due respect to His Eminence, Nigeria, the majority of Nigerians know that the north is compared to the south, it's security-wise, it's not a safe place to visit. Many people down south will be very reluctant to go up north. We have parents who refuse to allow their children to go for NYC postings up north. So, across board, there is an awareness of the poor state of security in the north. The banditry in the northwest, Boko Haram in the northeast, people unable to travel between Abuja and Kaduna, and then from Kaduna to Kano for fear of kidnappers and so on. There is no question whatsoever that across the nation there's an awareness, a strong sense of awareness of the poor state of security in the north. So I do not agree with the Sultan there. I think that what the focus should be really is how to make things better. We've been talking about, insecurity in the north now for several years.
Okay, Mr. Chris, before you actually go deep into that, I want to really talk about this now. As a communication expert yourself now, when you talk about the security architecture of Nigeria, now we usually talk about, there's something called, pre-crisis and crisis and also post-crisis. But now, are you going to say that the pre-crisis in Nigeria is actually weak? Because it seems now during this crisis period, there's no solution and no coming up. And what do you think should actually be done to rebuild the security architecture in the country?
Well, I think the first order of business really should be around, the personnel, the leaders of the national security structure. Clearly, after 5 years, they are not winning. We are losing the battle. And there's no reason why the president has refused to make changes over 5 years when the results stares everyone in the face. That, things have only gotten worse. They haven't gotten any better. So the first order of business in dealing with this issue is for the president to finally decide that, the current people are not delivering the job. That's the first order of business. The second order of what should then proceed after that, after getting new personnel? is to look at the whole structure itself in terms of what is required to fully guarantee safety and peace, for people not just in the north but indeed across the country. How come we have a proliferation of arms, strewn all over the country? How can we reduce it? How can we get arms off the hands of miscreants and so on and so forth? What are we doing right? What are we currently doing wrong? And so on. How do we make things better? And then, of course, you talked about communication, and this is crucial because ultimately the people need to know what the government is doing to make things better. At the moment, there's a paucity of communication coming out from the government side to show what its efforts are. So right now, everybody is just hands up in the air, wondering whether we actually have a government that knows what's going on and how they are feeling.
All right.
And there's work to be done in that area.
All right. Still speaking about the level of insecurity in the country, Nigeria has ranked as the third most terrorized nation in the world for the 6th time, and this is according to Global Terrorism Index. And still on that same report, they also stated that the numbers of death by Boko Haram rose by 25% from 2018 to 2019. Now my question is, where does this put us as a country in the international scene?
Oh well, there are so many ramifications to this. The number one thing, obviously, is that it makes us an uninvestable country. If we cannot guarantee security in the country, nobody is going to come here to come invest. Because the number one thing that everybody is looking for when you're looking to invest is peace, security, safety. And if you cannot guarantee that, you're not going to put your money there. So that affects us because ultimately, economies grow largely through FDI, foreign direct investment. We ain't going to get that for as long as we're unable to provide security, for our people. Secondly, and this is also crucial, the perception of Nigeria and Nigerians abroad, becomes also negative because we're then seen as one of the failed states, where the world needs to rally around to support, provide food, shelter, and so on and so forth. Given the enormity of our resources, it's a blight on Nigeria and its image. So the ranking, ultimately has very huge negative impact, on Nigeria and Nigeria's image and Nigeria's ability to relate with the rest of the world.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chris Adetayo, a communication and international relations expert. Thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. And of course, that's all with our guests, but let's quickly review sport and see what is currently going on at the vaccine. And here we have retired number 1 shirt, AVP. So currently, let me just quickly talk about Maradona's date. And, the world of football is really mourning. But let's go on a short break and, when we come back, we'll continue on this matter. All right, welcome back. And of course, we're talking about sports before we went to the break. And of course, the world of football is currently, mourning after the death of icon and legend, that's Diego Armando Maradona, at the age of 60, who died from heart attack. Diego was an Argentine professional football player and manager, widely regarded as one of the greatest players of all time. He was one of the 2 joint winners of the FIFA Players of the 20th Century Award. And also from Europe to USA, India, Malaysia, Nigeria, and of course throughout his native South America, photos of Maradona's face were inked across newspapers pages, both front and back. And also, of course, we have that here on Vanguard. And also, many people were affected by his death, and that includes former Argentina coach, that's Alejandro Sabella, who is also in hospital after being very much affected by Diego's death. Grieving fans of Diego also clashed with police as they scrambled to get a glimpse of the Argentine football legend's casket. And also, Andre Villas also believes that FIFA should retire the number 10 shirt across the world of football as a tribute to Diego Maradona. And also, still talking about that, lawyers have accused the medics of criminal idiocy and demanded investigation into the football legend's deaths. And according to his lawyer, that's Matthias, he claimed that the World Cup winner was left for 12 hours without aid before he died of a heart attack just 2 weeks after his discharge from hospital following surgery to remove clots from his brain. And still talking about Maradona, of course, we've had people, many Nigerians also expressed their sadness over his death, and we actually wish the football legend we actually would rest in perfect peace, because talking about football now, many Nigerians and many people are talking about it. If you just need to mention it, they're talking about Maradona's death. I really hope you will rest in peace. And that concludes today in the news on Vanguard Live this morning. You can always like and follow us on our social media platforms that are showing on your screen, or visit our website www.vanguardangel.com to get more of our top stories and what is currently going on around the world and also in Nigeria. And of course, it's a wrap up from me, Damlola Abushaki, and also from our co-host,
Precious Tripoli. And make sure you enjoy your weekend. I mean, it's going to be a fabulous weekend
for
some people.
No, let's not go into that.
All right, thank you for watching.